Hey everybody, and welcome to tonight's Facebook Live. That was supposed to be last night, but life kind of got in the way. But thanks for joining me tonight as we do the homemade sweetness sweet. I got people talking in the background and I just lost my whole train of thought. Tonight we're going to be doing the homemade sweetness sweet collection, and we're going to do this super simple card, and then after we get done with this card, I have a couple of things to show you guys. The new Stampin' Up! Catalog for May through August will be coming out starting May 4th, and pre-order has begun for us. So I'm gonna show you the cover of that, and then I have excuse me, and then I have a really super cool sneak peek of the upcoming online exclusive launch. I have the Mega Suite in my possession, and I am going to show you guys that. So let's get started. We're going to make this card. Like I said, it's using the Homemade Sweetness Sweet Collection set. There's the stamp set that we will be using, and then the dies. And this is the card we will be making. And this is kind of a cute little card. It's not your standard open card. It slides out, and then you get your little jar, and inside is where your little message is. So it looks hard, I know. I had someone say, I did one earlier, that someone commented that it looks really complicated, and I thought, you know, it's really not, so I want to show you guys how to do it, so you're not so intimidated by the fancy aspects of it. And the measurements will be on the PDF that I will post on the blog, and then I will also post a link to that in the comment section here on the Facebook Live replay. So let's get started and try to speed things up a little bit. I have things pre-cut already. All my paper is already cut out. Let me get somewhat organized. Here we go. Okay, so to start off, we need the card base. We will be using the Misty Moonlight, and I am using the two-toned 12 by 12 cardstock. Because it was on hand at the time when I was doing it, that's why I grabbed it. But you can actually do this with regular cardstock, same sizes, same everything. But it is the Misty Moonlight card base is what we will be using, and that is cut at 4 1/4 by 8. Note that it's not 8 1/2. You will have to cut a half an inch off if you are using 8 1/2 by 11 paper. And then we'll score it at 2 1/2 inches. And then we'll need another piece of that Misty Moonlight, which I don't seem to have. Well, it's going to be 1 by 3. Is how big you need that for. I think I already cut it out. Oh well, anyway. And then you will also need a 1 by 3 basic white. And then the Homemade Sweetness Designer Series paper. You will need 2, and those will be cut at 4 by 5 1/4. And then another piece at 2 1/4 by 4. And I want to point out real quick that my DSP my larger DSPs are 2 different ones, and that is because I wanted the back to be different than the front. So you have the marble, and then you turn it over, you have the spoons. You don't have to do that. You can use the same on both sides. It would be perfectly fine as well. And then for the jar, we will need strawberry slush. Again, I'm using the two-tone cardstock, the 12 by 12 two-tone cardstock, and that'll be cut at 4 3/4 by 7 1/2. Do not score that because we're going to cut out the jar with the die. And then for the basic white, you're going to need 2 1/4 by 3, a 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. And then a 3/4 by 4, that's way too long, but that's okay. And then 1 1/2 by 2. And then for the DSP, we'll need 2 by 4 1/2. So the measurements, there's a lot of paper, but it's, again, this goes really, really quick on how to put it all together. In the suite is also an embossing folder, which is the Ladybug Picnic 3D embossing folder. I am not using that tonight on this card. I have used it in other cards, and I'll show you some samples that I've used it in, but we aren't using it tonight. It is a very cute embossing folder, though. It just doesn't work with this particular card. So let's start with our stamping. We're going to get that out of the way here real quick. And grab all my little white pieces. And the envelope, which I forgot again. I am working on another series with this over here on the side of just the jars. Because you could make the cards with just jars by themselves, standalone, and not have this little holder to put it in. You could do it individually, and I am in the process of doing an entire set, and I'll get those done and post them up so you guys can see how I did that as well. Alright, so for ink tonight we are using Tuxedo Memento Black, and then we will also be using the Strawberry Slush classic stamp pad. And then other colors we're going to be using are we're supposed to use, I think it's Granny Apple Green, but I accidentally grabbed Lemon Lime Twist, but either one will work. Stampin' Blends Combo Pack, and then the Strawberry Slush Stampin' Blends Combo Pack. And on a quick note with the Strawberry Slush, it is retiring this year. Total sadness. I'm really sad to see this color go. It's become a favorite, but it does retire starting May 4th. So we'll also be using those. And we're going to go ahead and start with we're going to do the strawberry, and then we're going to stamp on the 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 of strawberry, and then their sentiment. And then again on the smaller white, we will also just slide a little sentiment on there. So let's start with, I'm going to go ahead and do the strawberry first so it can dry. Because sometimes when you use the blends, you got to really let it dry. Otherwise it will smear everywhere. The red will, or the colors will just kind of bleed into one another. I'm just going to stamp a little strawberry there on the inside portion of my card. And then on the back side of my envelope, just to be different. And then I'm going to stamp another one on, what size is this? This is the 2 1/4 by 3 inch basic white, which we're going to cut out for the label for the jar with this one. So I want to kind of put my strawberry at an angle, just because it's going on a jar, so we got to make it look a little different. And then we're done with that, and done with the black, so we can put that away. And then we'll grab our strawberry slush, and I'm using the sentiment Homemade for You, and that's what we're going to cut our little tags out of. I'm going to stamp that over here on the side here. Okay. And then we're going to stamp the You Are the Sweetest. And this is the inside piece of where our message will go for the inside of the card. Just like that. And then I'm going to grab the Great Big Jar stamp, and it's a big stamp. You're going to need the, I think it's block E, block F for this one, because that jar he's just really super big. So you'll definitely need the bigger one. Or if you have the Stampin' Positioner, this would be also a good one to use that little fancy tool for. Excuse me. Now I'm going to stamp the jar here on the Strawberry Slush paper. I'm going to go to the right side as far over, probably about a 1/4 inch from the edge, because we want to make sure we have room for the line up the die to go all the way down. And we'll just push down on that. Make sure it gets good and pressed on there. Just like that. You could use black if you wanted it to really pop. I was using Secret C on the strawberry slush, just to kind of give it a little bit more of a show for it. That is all our stamping. Now we're going to grab the strawberries and we'll go ahead and color them in. And I'm just going to use the green on the leaves, or the stems. Just doesn't have to be perfect, nothing fancy. I tried to be fancy with my coloring on the strawberries and make it so it had a little shine and then a little white and a green. It just wasn't working for me. My alcohol marker skills are still in process. And then I'll grab my light. We are casting a really bad shadow here. And just like that. And normally I would do all of my darks at once and then go back and go over all the lights. But we'll go one color at a time tonight. And on the envelope, the alcohol markers will bleed through on the opposite side. So that's why when you do the envelope, make sure the envelope is empty. And then when I do the flap, like I'm doing now, I fold it out so it doesn't bleed into the front of the envelope. Grab my strawberry slush and do the same thing. But for the dark one, on this one, I'm just going to do right here under the leaves. I'm not going to go into the whole light sourcing lecture here, but it's always darker under the leaves, or in some cases it's lighter in the actual fruit. But if the stems are on, it's always darker underneath because of shadows. I think I'm going to have to plug in my light because that is just a really bad shadow. I'm struggling to see here. So before we go any further, I'm going to pause here and plug in my little light. Try not to knock the world for a Fruit Loop in the process. Oops. There we go. That's much better. Now we can all see. So I'm going to take the light and I'm just going to go over it. Kind of pull down that dark a little bit into the light with your alcohol marker. And then they all just kind of bleed in there together. And we'll do that with all three of them. And if you're cutting out with dies, like this does have a die that coordinates with the strawberry, going off out of the lines a little bit isn't that big of a deal, because you do end up eventually cutting it off. But I usually try to, color in the lines. So now I think we're ready to cut everything out. And to do that, again, we're going to use the dies. We're not going to need to cut anything off of these, so we're just going to set them aside until we're ready for them. What we do need is basic white, our strawberry for our label, and our tag. We'll need that little piece of blue there, and then some other white pieces for the ribbon that you actually have to cut out. I have a new favorite die. I gotta point this out really quick. It's a bow. It actually comes with a die that cuts out bows. That's my favorite bow. It can retire, but I'm still going to use it because it's a bow. And we all know how I feel about those. So we're going to use white for that part of it. So the jar we will line up on as best we can, and to make it so it stays, I would just put a piece of washi tape there to kind of hold it in place. For our strawberry / checkered, we're going to use the fabric bag. Oops. As I said, it's fine. It's got textures here, so it's going to actually make it look, when it cuts out, it's going to actually look like a piece of fabric. So I'll line that up there. I'm going to grab it real quick. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. You can see the little lines here where it just kind of gives it that fabric-y look. And then I'll just grab everything else. We're going to pull some movie magic here in a second. So the ribbon will go on the white. The bow will go on the white. This one will go over the strawberry in the center. Kind of like that. And this tag will go over the homemade for you. You're going to want the end with a hole in it. There we go. So it's down here on the homemade, on the H end of the die, or of the paper stamp word. There we go. And then we'll also use that one to cut out the 1-inch piece of Misty Moonlight. So like I said, we're going to do some really cool movie magic here. I've already got everything pre-cut out to try to save time, because I really want to show you guys this mega suite from the upcoming online exclusive release. So we'll just throw all these back over here. I have a little magnet. I took an old magnet and glued it to a piece of cardboard. And that is where I hold all my dies that I'm using at the time, so they don't go, it actually says Project Die Keeper, so everything doesn't go flying all over Tarnation, or get buried, or lost, like I like to do. So we're just going to slide all this out of the way. Pretend like we used the Big Shot and cut all that out. Ta-da, look, we did. Yay. We have our little twine the ribbon piece. And we have our 2 tags, the bow, the strawberry tag, the fabric, and the jar. Now we are ready to assemble our card. I'm just going to set that aside because we're going to build the card base first. And to do that, we're going to fold here. You can see the darker on the 2-tone cardstock. The one side is darker, one side is lighter. Doesn't matter. Take your pick on who goes where. Whoops! Grab my bone folder. Oh, that's messy. Let's clean that up real quick. Should not drop stamp on glass mat. Oopsies. And so our one piece will go on the inside here. And we're just going to attach it to the center on the inside. You wouldn't necessarily need to go all the way down. I did, so it prevented anything from getting caught, especially the ribbon that we're going to put on the card. Well, I guess the ribbon wouldn't matter, would it? Well, oh well. I wanted to because it looks nicer. Or out of habit. I'm not sure which. And center that as best as I can. Keep it as straight as possible. And then we will, oops, we'll glue that on the end. Get that off. I'm going to go ahead and close that. And we'll attach our little piece. And we kind of want it so it sort of lines up. That is way not even right. Oh dear. I cut that wrong. Okay, time out. I'm gonna grab a new piece here. We'll just set you over here. Which one is that? The jars? Let me dig out a piece here. It's supposed to be 2 1/4 by 4. But I must have cut it way too long. That's okay. That's why you should double check before you glue. Let's see. There we go. Now we're right. So I must have cut it at 2 1/2. Oh well. It just happens. I'll use it on another project. No DSP goes to waste at my house. Usually anyway. So we're going to put that again here in the bottom. I'm going to try to line that up, as I was saying, the best I can so it matches on the side, so it kind of has a smooth transition. Just like that. And we're going to flip it over and put our spoons on the back. The spoon paper just cracks me up. I don't know why, I just think it's adorable. I should go put it on our spoon drawer. See if anybody notices. I just think it's really cute. I did a project where I used Wink Stella on the spoons to kind of give it a shine. It worked really good. Super, super good. So to get the pocket on this, you can see here, so it slides in and out, I just glued so it was right here on the very edges. And if you have the fine tip glue, this is probably a good time to use that. If not, just use a very thin line or just little dots. I'm going to close that, and then to try to get a good seal on it, I take the edge of my bone folder and just line it up there and press down. And I do that with both sides, and all that does is make sure it gets good and adhered to both sides, so your pocket doesn't come undone later. But we're going to add ribbon to it anyway, so that will also help with it. Oh, I'm going to need that again. Alright, so we're going to stop there with that, because we'll do the tag and the ribbon once we get our other card put together. So to start with this, I'm just going to flip this on the inside. I am using the darker side for the outside, the lighter side for the inside. I don't know why, I just did it that way. There's no rhyme or reason for it. And I'm going to attach that 3 1/4 inch piece there on the inside of our jar. And then I'm going to fold here the die creases, or add the score line to the center of the jar for you. And I will grab one of the other ones from the project I'm working on, so you guys can see that a little bit clearer. Let's go with the blue. You can see that score line right there. That the die does that, so that's really nice, actually. Really quite super helpful. All right, let's decorate our jar. And to do that, we need to add the fabric cover so it kind of looks like a jar cover. And there are several different ways you could probably attach it on there, but what I have found to be the easiest is I glue right here on the jar top, and then that way I can just put it over there without trying to get it too far over or too up, too far down. It just lines up a little better, I think. And I'm going to take this and line that up. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just like that. Now if you want to get fancy with it, you don't have to, this is totally optional. You can take your bone folder and kind of curl the edges up just a little bit, or even down, so it looks like the fabric is flowing a little bit. See, it kind of adds a little bit of dimension there. You could go in and do different areas. It's just kind of fun to make it so the fabric looks like it's actually weavy. So let's add our ribbon, our string, or I'm not really sure what to call it, twine, I guess. That's way too much glue. It doesn't take a lot of glue on this. I should probably be using my fancy little... Yeah, you know what? I'm going to grab that and show you guys that, because it is kind of a cool little cool little trick I saw. You can grab the old, or the kitchen, what are they, the spreaders, where you can, you know, on your, like you spread butter on your brushes. There we go, the rubber brushes. And then you grab the mat here, a silicone mat. And then my glue, I'm going to put some glue on that. And I'm going to take this little brush, this silicone brush here. I did cut it. They're usually like this long. I cut it way back. I'm just going to dip it into my glue and go right down my piece. And now all that little piece there is all glued up. I'll do it again with the bow too, so we won't put it away. So we're just going to attach that to the fabric. Hopefully I got enough glue on there. Nope, darn it. Normally it works really good. There it goes. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing with the bow, with the glue. I'm just going to kind of put it on there. So it's just a really easy way to, on the little intricate pieces, to add adhesive. Set that out of the way. Yeah, so now that's all, makes it look like it's all tied on there. The old-fashioned jars that you used to get with like jam and jelly that have the, I remember Grandma doing it. She would cut the round circles and put it on there and then tie a bow. I don't have the patience for that. I love to cook, but I can't do the baking or the canning thing. I'm not there yet. We're going to add our little label to the center of the jar. I didn't put a sentiment on it because we are adding it to the base there, but you could, if you wanted to, you could add a sentiment here, or you could even attach the tag up here if you wanted. But I feel that this is kind of gives it a little bit of a surprise. So our jar is done. And now we're going to grab our trim, the Misty Moonlight checked trim that came with the suite. And we are going to tie that around the bottom here. The only purpose it serves is decorative and holds it together just in case if your adhesive decides not to cooperate. And tie our little bow. Or not. There we go. Well, okay. He just isn't going to cooperate tonight. There we go. Maybe. We'll see. Close enough. And we'll trim the ends there. It's just, nope, okay. He can just kind of be upside down and backwards. He'd be fine. I'll fix it later. And then we're going to grab our tag. And we're going to take our white, baker's white, our white baker's twine. There we go. And we're going to loop it through. We're not going to attach these together yet. We will eventually attach them together, but for now we're just going to leave them loose apart. We're going to slip the little loop in that hole to connect them together. And we're going to take our twine, and one half of it is going to go under the ribbon or the checked trim. And we're going to tie that off under the knot here. I wanted to leave a little bit hanging, but it looked really weird, I thought. And I've seen it done so it looks gorgeous when they're all tied together and connected. So you could leave a little bit hanging there so that white also shown there if you wanted to. I might, just because my bow is being done. He's just kind of doing his own little thing there. And then for the tag, we're going to kind of position him where we want him. That way we can tell how far apart you want that tag to be. And now I'm going to attach them together. This just gives you a little bit of judgment room here so you know how far to put it apart. And then to attach it to the card base, I'm going to grab a dimensional. Just here on the back side. That way he kind of stays up kind of where I want him so it looks like it's on a jar. I'm going to bring my bow over just a tiny little bit, which is why we didn't attach anything there. So, there we go. Just like that. And now we can add our little strawberries and dots. And for those, I didn't really use a whole lot. I lost my little thingy. And I'm just going to put a little strawberry here next to the sentiment, and then a couple of little dots here over here on the jar. And just like that. And now our card is done. We can slip it in inside our card base, and we can send it off to someone special with our envelope. So that is that. Like I said, it's not a real difficult card to do, and I am working on getting got a whole conglomerated mess here. I'm going to do a whole series of jars, just jars, for cards, and I'll get those done yet tonight and get them posted with the rest of this so you guys can kind of see how different ways you can use them. And now for some samples, I just completed a big tutorial. It'll be available starting April 1st. Oops. If you would like the tutorial, it is free with any orders of $50 or more. I will email it to you. But the cards I did for that are right here. And this one's just a jar with a spoon. And I used the embossing folder there. Nothing fancy on the inside. This one's heavy in the DSP to kind of show different ways you can use it. And then the flowers that come with the dies, and there's a little heart stamp. I know some people have been really super confused about the heart. You could use it for, like the I love you very much, or if you take it and turn it, it works as leaves for your flowers. I don't know if that's exactly what it was intended for, but it works super, super well. And this one I did heavy on the embossing folder here, so you could really see what that looks like. The color combination that I used here is a little different, but it works really well because it really pops that's a berry jam there. And then the lid is done with the Lunar Luster specialty paper. And then my personal favorite is my jar glass of infused water. You can see I used vellum here, and then underneath are berries that are also done with vellum, and then I just cut out my own little straw there. And the card base itself is actually embossed with the embossing folder. So there's several different ways you could use the embossing folder on that. But that is, I have another one that I did, but I can't seem to locate it with this set, but that is in another PDF file that will be available again the 1st of April, that you can purchase on my PDF store. Now let's get to the really, really extra fun things, which is the new catalog. And for those of you who are not aware, Stampin' Up! Has decided to do the catalogs a little bit different. We're not just going to have one big giant annual catalog. They're going to break them out into different sections. I don't want to say quarters, but they're going to be just a couple of months at a time. Because we have found that the annual catalog kind of gets shoved to the side after a couple of months. So the hype is gone. Nobody wants to buy anything. So we're doing things a little different. Remember, I can't open it, but I can show you the cover. Here is the May to August 2026 calendar. It does not disappoint. There are some really, really, really fun things in here. New in colors, which have been announced. I don't have them in front of me, so I can't show them to you, but when I do get them, I will definitely share them with you. They're very pretty colors. But I'll be getting in more little bits here and there of our pre-order, so I will definitely get those up and show them to you guys. One thing I do have. Oh, it's catalog, not calendar. My bad. One thing I do have that's in here is the new basic black stamp pad. That's going to replace the Memento, and let's go grab it real quick here. The Stays On. This hybrid does the job of both. So you can use water-based markers, you can use alcohol markers, and only use one stamp pad, where right now, if you're using alcohol markers, you use the Tuxedo because it's water-based. If you're using regular markers, or even colored pencils, the watercolor pencils, you're going to want to use the Stays On because it is alcohol-based and none of that will bleed. This eliminates both of those all by itself, which is really super exciting. I won't maybe lose it as often. Another thing is with the new in colors, the stamp cases are not the same. And I can show you better when they get here, but right now they open, as we all know, they open and slide. The new ones are magnetized. They pull up and they stack. They fit in our current storage containers, but these new ones are, I'm super excited because sometimes I struggle getting these open. I know a lot of people do. The magnetic, the new ones coming out, they're literally one-handed opening that you don't need two hands, and there's no struggle. So that is going to be awesome. And then another pre-order happening right now for us demonstrators is the online exclusive, and I have in my possession, in my hands, the Mega Suite. And with the Mega Suite, you get designer series paper and 2 stamp sets with 2 die sets. And then this time we're only getting an embossing folder. We don't get any embellishments, but that's okay. The embossing folder covers it. And the name of the suite is The Silly Old Bear. And it is absolutely 110% adorable. I'm in love with it, and I cannot wait to play with this. The 100 Acre Woods 3D embossing folder is literally the map of the 100 Acre Woods, which is really, really cool, really fun. You could do a card all by itself with just this embossing folder. And then the Sweet Old Friends. And take note that these are the original characters. They're not the 3D animated ones you see on TV today. They have taken it way back to when Winnie the Pooh started. Tigger and Rabbit, they don't look like they did today, which is fine with me. I think it's absolutely adorable. And it comes with coordinating dies, including the honey pot and the honey, a table. I think that's a honeycomb right there. You know what? Let's just crack it open. I haven't opened anything yet, except for the paper to drool over. So yeah, you get a little honeycomb there, right there, so you can cut out, because you know he likes his honey. The little wooden sign, so you can do the directions that you see in the show. It's gonna be so much fun. And then the Sweet Words and Labels, the stamp set and dies. The day, oh bother, that won me right there. I wasn't gonna get this, but when I read oh bother, it was a done deal. I was sold 110%. And then the coordinating label dies. And there's a lot of them. There's little acorns, some leaves, so you could even carry this on into the fall. The labels are just gorgeous anyway. I'm actually going to leave those out because I want to show you something with the DSP, which we're going to open. I already opened it. I already drooled. Look at this. This is just too darn adorable. I know people have asked already on Facebook copyrights. We're good. It's okay. It is only available in the United States. So for my gals that are in other countries, I'm so sorry. But this is only available here in the U.S. But we are free and clear on copyrights. I promise you that. But this paper is just so adorable. I've already got it sorted out. So that's, I don't think the dies line up. I think Mom and I tried that once already, and they just don't quite line up, which is okay. So if you wanted an individual one, you just have to fussy cut it out by yourself. And then there's the stars. The colors for this are on the back of the white piece. They are Barely Blush, which is one of the new in colors, Basic Black, Cajun Craze, Cherry Cobbler, Crumb Cake, Early Espresso, Golden Glow, another in color, Hydrangea Hue, another in color coming in, Mossy Meadow, Old Olive, Pecan Pie, Timid Tiger, and Very Vanilla. So those are 3 of the colors there. The Barely Blush, Golden Glow, and Hydrangea Hue. Yeah, Mom's fallen in love with the Hydrangea Hue, so. Alright, back to the funness here. The trees. And I stared at this long enough, I discovered the little hidden gem. The little, what are they? I don't even know the word that they use. Easter egg, I think is the word kids use today. Post climbing the tree. And I just think it's absolutely adorable that he's trying to get to that honey. It just cracks me up because you can see the little bees up here flying around. Yeah. And then the map. I'm so sold, you guys. This is just adorable. You can see Pooh's house and my house. Pooh's traps for Huffalumps is right there. And Piglet's house, where the woozles are. Or where the woozle wasn't, excuse me. It's just got them all on there. And that does kind of coordinate a little bit with the embossing folder here. It doesn't have the names on it, though. Again, we're cracking this open. The excitement is real, you guys. I'm sorry. Not really, but... Oh, it's a good thing I opened it because it goes sideways. It's not like the normal ones that normally go like this. This is actually laid out sideways. Let's grab something so you guys can see. I don't know if that's any better or not, but you can see it goes sideways. That's so cool. Well, anyway, so the names aren't on there, but they do kind of match a little bit. Just a little bit. Still can have fun with it. Okay, moving on. I promise. We're gonna skip my favorite ones for last because I mean that way. Here we go. And then we have the little Barely Blush. It's a soft pink, so I don't hate it. I'm not mad about it. It's kind of a pretty softer pink, not in your face hot pink. And then we have more characters. Oh, the dice might line up with this one. We'll just crack it out and look. You guys, whoops, that is the wrong one. You guys are investigating with me, so. We're all learning together here. Let's pop him out. Let's do Rabbit here. Yes, you can. So on this one, they do line up. Cool. That's like a whole new level of awesome right there. And the honey jars. I wonder if does he line up there? Yes. Oh, I'm gonna need more paper. Okay, game changer. I don't know if you guys can hear Mom in the background, but she's yay. There's nothing goofy about us. Nothing. That's awesome. All right. Hello, Aunt Carla. Thanks for joining me. You need to get online. You need to buy this. You need this. You need the sweet. And then the blue cloudy paper. So the blue skies. There's no rain clouds, which is slightly disappointing, but that's okay. I can make my own. And then my favorite papers are... Nope, not my favorite ones yet. So then we have the green stripes. And then this has got just all the characters and little lines all in a row. I envision that like when the show where they're all following in a row, hiking in through the woods to go find Christopher Robin. That's just kind of what I envision there. Now for my favorites. My favorite sheets in this whole packet. I have lost. Uh-oh. Oh dear. Oh bother. There they are. Look at this. They are scenes. I'm not kidding you. How amazing is that? And the dies coordinate with these, so you can just cut them out. Easy, super simple card fronts right there. And then it's just so cute. Turn it again to the next page and more immediate card fronts. It's just, it's like they're sketches straight out of a book that you would see. They're just, I'm in love. I have so many ideas already going through my brain. It's going to be so much fun to work with them. Yes, oh, Pooh. We love him. He's just so cute. So that's the Oh Bother. This mega sweet that will be available. What is this? Is April, March, April, May. So it'll be available May 4th. The same time as the catalog, the new catalog that's again coming out. My pre-order will be here hopefully sometime next weekish. So I'll be able to show you guys the new in colors and all the other fun things that are coming out that I can get my little hands on. I'm not overkilling with buying this year because we are separating things out. I don't want to overwhelm myself with so many things and not have enough time to show you guys all the fun things and all the neat things we can do with different things. So, but that is the Mega Suite. That is coming soon to all of us. And it'll be super fun. So that's all I have for you guys tonight. Thank you so much for joining me. Next month will be a little bit less hectic, hopefully. We'll be a little bit more calm. No idea what we're gonna do. We do have our kit together on the third Saturday of the month. I don't know what kit we're doing yet. I'm kind of waiting to see which new ones come out. If there is a kit that you specifically want to do, let me know. Post it here on the Facebook page, private email me, whatever you gotta do. Just let me know, because I love ideas. If there's any sweets, bundles, or anything else you think you'd like to see in action, again, just let me know. I'm here to help you and to inspire you amongst all of our creative chaos that occurs around here in the craft room. So, but until next time, we will see you guys later. Happy stamping.